Well, good evening, ladies and gents. Hello, Jammer.
Hello.
First one of the year, mate.
Yeah, I almost forgot to do this.
I know. Do we speak into the microphones now or after? I can't remember. Like we talk at some point, right? I'm almost positive we talk to people at some point.
Yeah, as long as we don't forget there's overtime, it's fine.
Yeah, I knew you were going to do that the minute we start. Um, Welcome everybody to EsportsWales, the Welsh Esports League. My name is ReaperSteve, or at ReaperSteve1 on Twitter. As you can see on your screens, I'm joined by my partner in crime, basically at this point, Jammer. Also at Jammer_CS on Twitter. How you doing, Jammer? For the first one of the year for us both.
Yeah, I'm actually quite excited to be back, and hopefully, I'll be able to brush off the ring rust from not doing this for an entire holiday. So
Mate, it was
hopefully
a
we'll be
nice
good going
holiday
into
though, wasn't it? Let's be honest. It was really nice to
Yeah,
sit back and watch other people do casting and just sit there and enjoy games for a couple of weeks. It was beautiful. Best time of my life. Um,
I actually got to play a little bit, believe it or not.
I know you did. I know. I watched Jammer played in a tournament as well. It was a Christmas fun tournament for one of the other companies that we do work with. But it was quite fun to watch. I unfortunately was ill. Conveniently won conveniently, whichever way you want to look at it. So I couldn't play in it myself, but I did manage to sit back and watch quite a bit of the game, and he played quite well, mate. Jammer did. He actually knows how to play this game. He's not like me. It's crazy. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I actually got recruited by Cody afterwards, and I had to
Did you
say I'm a
really?
little bit. Yeah.
Mate.
He was asking if I wanted to join him for his ESCA Open kind of
That
tournament,
that
but
man is he's a wheeler dealer, isn't he? He's literally like the Del Boy of CS. That's the only way I can describe him. Um,
yeah,
but no, I unfortunately I sank a lot of time into Escape from Tarkov. We're not going to talk about it because it causes me eternal pain whenever I do, to be completely truthful with you. But I sank quite an unreasonable amount of time into Escape from Tarkov, and yeah, I'll never get that time back, to be honest with you. It's gone, Jammer, to be completely truthful with you.
how
Um,
could you want the time back? You put all that effort, all that love into
I
this
want the
game,
time
man.
back, Jammer. Okay, but no, I spent quite a lot of time into Escape from Tarkov and playing games with friends and that over the Christmas period and New Year period, which was great, to be honest with you. You played CS. Like, what more could you want for end of year, start of new year kind of cycle? We are, of course, here for one reason and one reason only. We're here for Welsh Esports League, well. Hashtag well on Twitter, of course. We're excited to bring together gamers from all over the region to connect and compete and have a great time, of course. Whether you're a seasoned pro or new to the scene, there's something for everyone here at EsportsWales. We'll be featuring a variety of games and tournaments, as well as opportunities to meet and chat with other players. You know, jump on in, grab a controller, get your mouse, keyboard ready to go, dust off your headset. You do have to communicate with people sometimes in video games. Try telling that to my mates to play Tarkov with, but they just don't listen, obviously. And get started with EsportsWales. I think it's a really good opportunity for a lot of people to get out there a little bit more. You and I have done loads of work with EsportsWales. Goes without saying, of course.
Yeah,
We've covered multiple seasons for their the EsportsWales TAN team. We've covered quite a fair bit actually of EsportsWales over the last couple of years, which has been nice. So yeah, I think we can both be good advocates for their CS side of things.
you'd hope.
Think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, we do know Counter Strike. It is kind of something we do on a daily basis, more or less. Maybe not playing as much for me these days, but still watch on a daily
I mean,
basis and that.
we're good at watching Counter Strike. That's
Oh
a
yeah,
skill.
yeah, definitely. I could talk about it till the cows come home, but playing it, not a chance. No way whatsoever. Um, Speaking of playing CS and all that kind of stuff, have you been playing anything other than CS over the Christmas break, Jeremy?
Playing the game of life and recovering from my carpal tunnel issues. So that's actually stopped me from doing anything.
Oh no, nightmare. The one thing that
Yeah.
gamers all fear, carpal tunnel syndrome. Not good. Have you
But
recovered now or
kind of. I'm on the way to recovery, going to physio and all that fun stuff. But
good?
it was honestly really nice to kind of just disconnect over the holidays and
Yeah.
spend time with real life family face to face. Connect with old friends and stuff. But I think one of the things that's really great about taking a break is it just energizes you so much more when you come back into it, especially for casts like this, which is a
Mm.
great grassroots initiative.
Definitely, 100%. I think that goes without saying. I love that terminology, grassroots, because like you and I are massive advocates for like the entirety of grassroots scene across the entirety of the UK, and sometimes we dabble a little bit into Europe with some of the tournaments that we cover and some of the teams that we've covered. But like this is as grassroots as it comes. This is one of the first proper kind of like esports leagues as such across multiple titles across an entire nation of people, which is like for me as a Welsh bloke is fantastic to see. Like my own countrymen jumping into a video game that I've been watching and playing and taking part in for quite some time and showing us what they're kind of made of. You can't get no better than that, can you? In fairness,
That just made me feel like a nice warm hug. It made me feel fluffy inside hearing that. Honestly, it's
I'm
it's really
cringing
nice.
for you. Don't worry, it's fine. I'm also cringing for you. Um,
No, you're right. You're right. It is a really good kind of opener for things like this, to kind of grow the scene and hopefully propel some of these players to some bigger stages.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I mean, you gotta take into consideration, right? You got ESEA kicking off and going on its normal course as things do. You've got Epic linking up in like less than 4 weeks away now, I think it is, or just over 4 weeks away. There's a lot of different tournaments out there, and having something like this, which is short, small form factor, should we say, over a couple of weeks, kind of get you ready to play as a team, jump into a tournament, and kind of throw yourselves at it. And this is like the perfect opportunity for teams to kind of work out those little bugs as well within their team setups.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Now I can tell chat's getting a little bit itchy to get into some viewing of these games, and I so am I. But there is a little bit of a delay, which we can only apologize for. Hopefully, we can get into the server and watch some CS:GO action. But should we talk a little bit about these teams?
Yes, indeed, we probably should like talk about the teams every now and again, right? We're going to be watching today the Pirates from Cardiff, said with every kind of downtrodden thing in my mind, versus Swans Esports. Like, I mean, what can we say about Swans Esports, Jammer? As a Swansea Jack myself, not that I'm going to be biased in any way, shape, or form, of course. We have
Right.
quite a good lineup between the two teams. I was very much looking forward to it. Now we actually have quite a mixed bag of players, to be honest with you. Some players that we've watched, I mean, over like the last 2 years together, 3 years together, more or less as well. Anders is the owner or he's down as the owner role, which I'm assuming is going to be like the team captain role for the Pirates. You have Zarex, you have Trowsy, Mixer, Red, and Kaiser playing for the Pirates. Swans Esports, of course, that team. I'm really
The
trying. I
Premier
genuinely
team.
am. I promise. I promise. I'm trying. Wally, Elo, Mog, Moshi, and Emmy. So what could you ask for in two head-to-head lineup teams? I talked a little bit with John yesterday about this. This is Slayer John, of course, for those who are familiar with Slayer John rather than just John. I just dropped the Slayer. I don't know why. I just do it every time I talk to him. But I was talking to John yesterday about it, Jammer. I said this is one of those matches where you look at the team lineup and they could potentially go all the way against each other.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. I think it should be a contested match. I do have to say, like looking at the squads that I haven't looked into before this game, I tried to keep it fresh. But looking at it and hearing you speak about it, you do sway me a little bit towards the Swan side of things. Although I'm hoping for a good fight from the Pirates.
We're not going to talk about my Swansea affiliation because I was told by John pre game start or pre kind of like startup, that I needed to be as unbiased as possible, but I could be a little bit biased within reason. So I'm going to pick my moments,
Okay,
and I'm gonna
okay.
I'm gonna time it when it needs to be there and it needs to be said. It'll be said, kind of thing. And that's just the way that's the way I'm going to look going forward into this. Um, in sort of quick fashion, at least anyway. Talking about Slayer John and the things that Esports Wales do. Esports Wales are obviously promoting esports, gaming and streaming within Wales itself, not just people like me in South Wales. You know, all across the entirety of the land of the dragons. Um, John's been integral, and the rest of Esports Wales has been integral in developing esports in Wales from a grassroots to a national level. I mean, you and I did some of the international. I'm gonna mess the naming up of this for definite before I do it. But
Okay.
the international was it Sports Federation for Esports? ICAFA?
Sounds right. It's close enough. We'll go with that.
Yeah, my brain doesn't work when it wants to work. But we did some coverage for the Esports Wales side as far as like the CS starting lineups for the Welsh team, getting words out. And I managed to watch a few bits and pieces as time progressed on. Met some of the players actually as well that travelled all the way out there for the tournament. So that just goes to show Esports Wales are putting Welsh esports in the right direction. I'm going to try to get into the server as well, Jam.
Yeah, that would be a good start to get
It
into
would
some
be.
CS action. But yeah, I mean, we could just quickly remind people how Esports Wales has been promoting esports gaming and streaming in Wales, developing esports in Wales from the grassroots to the national level, which is actually a really great summation of everything that we've talked about in this prelude, right?
Yeah, pretty much. More or less. I think we talked about everything now in the preload, haven't we? We've covered quite a lot of ground for maybe like 10 minutes worth of stream time. We've covered pretty much everything. I think we're gonna have to switch it to like the ReaperSteve Jammer podcast thing that we normally do when we have issues with tech. To be honest with you, Jammer,
It's been a long time coming.
it has been a long time coming. In fairness, we've been threatening each other with having a podcast session for like what 3 months, 4 months now, something like that, more or less. Where I sit down and go, do you know what, mate? We should probably record something. You're like, yeah, definitely. And then we both forget about it because we've got other stuff going on. It always seems to be the case. Oh, sorry, I do have to mention something very quickly,
Go
because
on.
it's not just those sitting at home watching on Twitch that are potentially watching us. By the way, Jammer, I forgot to mention this to you earlier as
Oh,
well. If you're in the little tap house in Newport and you're watching this broadcast from there, tweet me and Jammer a picture of your pints because we're live in a pub right now as well.
that's amazing. I'd
Yeah.
love to see that. I wish more kind of pubs and things like that would view esports. It would actually get me out to the pub way more often.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And I'm sure that people are going to make us very jealous with their alcohol. But in any way, just reading through the chat, it's a
Yeah, there's
real
some
fan
sus
going on.
things going on in there. I saw a word that we're not going to talk about on stream, but it came from you two. And yes, Jambo will have to speak to his partner to see what that would be.
I'll have to be holding her back, let alone speak to her at this point.
We are just like I said, we are just waiting for the servers to come up so we can jump in and watch. I'd say what we'll do, Jammer. Okay, while we're waiting, let's go on a little bit of a break. We'll take a couple of minutes. Hopefully, come back. We'll have live gameplay for yourselves. But I'm going to stick some nice, relaxing music on in the background so you lot can cool off a little bit and chill out. Okay, so we'll be back with you soon. And we're back, unfortunately. For you lot, I suppose. Oh, fortunately, actually, we're pretty good. Like, we know what we're doing. We think the tech issues are resolved, so we're probably going to be jumping into gameplay relatively quickly. We're just waiting for everyone to be kind of ready in the game, more or less now, Jammer.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. All the players in. I had to double check that
Yeah.
one just to make sure. But
Do you want to do
yeah,
that
no.
again? Should we rewind and say that sentence again,
Just
or never do that ever again in my presence if that's possible? That'd be great if you don't mind.
Okay.
Uh, no, but yeah, we're ready to go pretty much. Also, I'm inevitable, chat. You can't ban me. Let's be honest, right? Like, I don't want to be like, I owe nothing, but if I'm not here, then Jam is on his own. And it's probably going to be
I
better
don't
and
think
run
anyone wants
smoother, to be honest with you, if it's just Jam on his own. Yeah, we should be hopefully jumping into gameplay relatively quickly. We're just waiting on everything to go through. I should probably mention this in advance for those who are just joining us. I am going to be as unbiased as possible. I am from Swansea, which is the hometown of the Swans team, or the home city, I should say, the Swans team. So I'm going to be as unbiased as possible, even though the Pirates are from Cardiff, which is one of Swansea's kind of like main rivals, shall we say, in like the football world, of which I'm like a pretty big fan kind of thing as well. But yeah, I'll keep it to a bare minimum, I promise.
No.
I handled
This
that
is
really
BS.
well
I'm calling
there,
it.
all
Look,
right?
doesn't matter what John says. I think you need to show your passion. This is a
No, I
grassroots
can't do this.
tournament. Make sure everyone can hear the wanting, the love in your heart for this squad.
No.
No? Okay, all right.
I've just decided no. Yeah, we're looking pretty good now, though, Jammer. To be honest with you, I think from the looks of things, it was just restarting very quickly, which normally indicates that everyone should be ready to go. Should.
Yeah. It's not a bad sign. We'll say that.
No, yeah, exactly. I mean, we've had worse experiences, right, with tech issues.
Oh,
You know,
let's not go down that
yeah,
rabbit hole, shall
and
we?
that 45-minute wait, we were just sat there twiddling our thumbs, and then production were like, "Do you want to go? Do you want to take an intermission?" Instead of talking, like, could have said that 30 minutes ago, like, jeez, 45
Well, I
minutes.
mean,
Me and you were just talking about bread in the end, I think, weren't we?
silver linings, everything.
Yeah,
Inaugural episode of our podcast, right?
yeah, it was actually weirdly enough, or one off. But yeah, we should be pretty much good to go. We're just waiting on the players to join in the server, and then we can actually give you gameplay. And you haven't got to listen to me like blather on about random stuff. Speaking of random stuff, while we're waiting, Jammer, have
Okay.
you had dinner today? Because normally our broadcast start, and then you go, "Oh, I'm really hungry, I'm really hungry, I'm really hungry, I'm really hungry," and then at the end of the broadcast, you're like, "Right, I got to go now, mate. I'm gonna go make food," and it's like 9, 10 o'clock at night. Have you eaten before stream?
I have actually eaten before stream today,
Eh,
courtesy of my girlfriend making homemade Subway. It was
I'm
actually
just.
banging.
Can someone bookmark this? This This is
Momentous
a
occasion.
massive day right now. This is like he's actually eaten before we start the stream, and then he doesn't remind me when we're in the mid half break, going like, "God, I'm really hungry, man." I could probably eat something, to be honest with you. Good.
Listen, I think we need to back up a little bit.
Oh
I
no,
think
here
the
we go.
players have lost their way from the server, honestly. Like, they were in here, and then the server restarted, and now
Oh,
it
they're coming.
seems as though, oh, okay,
There you go. There you go.
as I say that, cast a curse. I've cast a curse our way into success. They're back in.
They are back in. We do have a full house as well. They're just finishing their wrap up or warm up, I should say.
You don't need a warm-up when you're Welsh, right? You're just born
No,
ready.
I mean, temperature today was -2, mind, in Swansea, so like we definitely need a warm up. It's been pretty cold. We do snow as well, weirdly enough. First time in a really long time.
Yeah, we had snow today for the
Did
first
you?
time in
Ah,
what
mate.
feels like forever, yeah.
I don't leave the house, so it wouldn't really bother me anyway, to be honest. No, we would do it today, but we didn't have any in the end, surprisingly.
Oh, interesting. Actually, talking of eventful current news things,
Mhm.
there was a pipe that burst in my neighbor's house earlier, and it was
Nice.
literally spraying water like a cathedral fountain, like nobody's business across the entire garden. And for those of you at home that don't know, my garden is huge. It's like 70, 80 feet long, and there was water going from the base of
Weird
this
flex.
guy's house all the way to the end. It was It's great on one hand, but not so much if you want to preserve clean water and keep your water bill down. But we'll gloss over that bit.
Absolute weird facts, by the way. 70 to 80 foot garden. Like, that's
Yeah,
proper
it's
weird
really
facts.
good, isn't it?
Oh, it's class, mate. Yeah. You should come to Wales. Actually, we said this before we started. I asked you if you'd been anywhere in Wales, because like we've never really talked about you coming down here, as such. But yeah, obviously one of the kind of big things of having a tournament that's based in Wales like this is knowing a bit about Wales itself. Which is why I suppose I'm here really for the pair of us. But you said that the only place you've been to is where was it? How did you pronounce it again?
Aberystwyth.
There's no
How
need
did
for you to
you?
put the accent on it. Like,
No, no, okay,
no,
great.
you did that on purpose. Because pre-stream you were like Aberystwyth or something like that it was called, and now we're in the middle of it, and you're like Aberystwyth. You're speaking like you're from there. It's mad. That is. Can't believe you did this. Can't believe you did it to me. You need to come to South Wales or anywhere in Wales. Actually, like some of the best beaches you'll ever see.
Oh,
Um,
actually, I tell a lie. I've been
mhm,
to Wales twice. One
yeah.
time, well, a couple of times in my youth.
Mhm.
My school actually has a little bit of land in Aberystwyth, which was why I was there a few times. But the
Weird
second
flex again.
major time, yeah, weird facts. Second time was actually when I drove to the very edge of Wales, like close towards like, is it like Hereford and stuff?
Oh yeah,
Down
yeah.
by that bit to pick up my guitar. And that was all I did. I drove to Wales, picked up a guitar, and then drove all the way back to my house.
Why was your guitar in? Oh, you went to buy a
It wasn't
guitar.
mine. Yeah, I went to buy a
Okay,
guitar. Well, it
right.
was free, so that's why I went there. But
You
yeah,
drove all the way there to get a free guitar.
yes.
I think you should explain to people where you live, and so they can appreciate the amount of distance you traveled for a free guitar.
I live pretty much like middle south of Birmingham, so
Oh my god, takes me 3 hours to
yeah,
get to Birmingham when like Insomnia's on, or like we're up there doing work or whatever. So it must have taken you like 5 hours.
yeah, each way, something like that, with the rush hour traffic on one of the journeys. So you
ten
know what? It was well
hours.
worth it. It was well worth
Man.
it.
Oh yeah, you got a guitar, so yeah,
I've used
fair
that
enough.
guitar all of like 2 times. So
Man, we need to talk about spending for real.
yeah, yeah.
Like, you might have an issue. I mean, I thought you had issues with CS skins, to be honest with you, but this is now taking the biscuit. Um, Me and Jammer, by the way, have been working together for what, like 3 years now, 2 and a bit years, 3 years,
Yeah, something
more or
like that.
less. And I've slowly been like creeping Wenglish words into his vocabulary on a daily basis, weekly basis. Um, well, feed obviously, so you guys can watch CS rather than just listen to us jammer on about random stuff. I've been slowly like slipping Wenglish words into our conversations, and I'm waiting for Jammer to say "achavi," which is like a very important kind of thing to learn how to say. Can you try and say it now while we're waiting for Warren to finish?
Say one more time.
Achavi. Achavi. Yeah, perfect. Achavi
Nice.
means like bad, disgusting. So
Here's me thinking that you're trying to make me swear on.
no, God, no, I wouldn't do that to you. I wouldn't do that to you. There are better words than Achavi for me to teach you to do that, to be honest. But
That's
post-stream conversations, yeah. Which is why when we loaded into the server early on and it said Dust 2, I went Achavi straight away. Because the server was set to default as Dust 2, and I was like, Achavi, no thank you. Knife Watch Jammer, first one of the year.
Yes. Yes.
I see two that I'm interested in seeing first, and straight away. Red, obviously, for obvious reasons. That's quite a nice. It's a talon, though, isn't it?
It is a talon.
Not a
Not a
karambit.
karambit.
I see a karambit though. I mean,
I like that combo.
yeah,
The
I do the
gloves with that
gloves.
lore. It's a classic, right?
Yeah, I mean it's a good look. Like it always will be a very good look. See a stiletto up there as well. Not many people use them. I like them still though.
I'm disappointed in the lack of glove combo, but you know what? He dies first anyway, so that's karma coming through.
We didn't plan that, by the way. Oh, a Doppler as well. Sorry. Right, I'm going to shut up now from Knife Watch. We're going to focus entirely on the gameplay as it happens for us all. I'm going to jump more or less straight into pistol round. And as things are currently set up, Jammer, we have the Pirates on T side. And we have, well, I mean, Swans Esports on CT, like. One of the best team out of the two. And you, nope. Stop myself now. Don't
I'm
do
leaking
it.
out there.
It came out a little bit, you know what I mean? There's a certified hood classic came out there for a couple of seconds, and I managed to read it back in for a few seconds. But yes, jumping straight into the first round of this best of one. It's a fairly like standard pistol setup, right? From T side, you buy armor. You do have a couple of nades there to throw into the mix. Flash and the smoke, of course, to help the push to get themselves into sight. We do have one defuse kit on the CT side of things. And she's in trouble though on the site. He does a backup in the form of Mog, who's actually stood by waiting. But all the action takes place on A jammer.
Yeah, that's a lot of space taken by the T side. Getting a little bit of control is huge if they're able to keep it, but even just having the man advantage actually is quite a big deal in this situation. Kaiser trying to stay alive on site. He's able to pick up one, which is really good return on that investment, and this is a tough task for the CT side to retake, but Moshi's picked up the kit, and that helps out a little bit, but some kills need to come through, and there's the first. 2 more to find as the swing comes through, and wow, they're making something of this. This is a good retake, and there you go. Mog locks it in, picks up the kit, and sticks in that defuse.
The space taken there to take that first initial pick on the retake, beautiful. I mean, he doesn't rush into things. Mog puts himself in a good position where he can get a lot of information for free, more or less, because of the way that the T-side shoulder peak is kind of hanging out. Gets that initial pick, feeds the information in, there's a swing on to site, they manage to secure the kill off the back of it, and it's a 1-for-1 trade to finish things off.
Yeah, really well worked there from the CT side, and I think you'll be happy that they got the opener there. It's going to be interesting to see if anything can come from this deco though, because as I've said many times, and for people that are familiar with us, they know what I'm going to say. Winning the second round when you've lost the first round is actually way more impactful in terms of the economy than winning the pistol round itself.
100%. We did have a random person join for a second, but they dipped out, so everything continues as normal. There were 6 players on the Swansea side there for a few seconds for whatever reason, but nonetheless, switching immediately forward as the T side start to ramp up this aggression, mixes takes a mid control. There's a good tap there onto Mob. Not enough to really send a hurtful message that way, but it does give a bit of information for the rest of the T side to push themselves up. Good use of smoke there from Xerix to get Moshi out of the fight. This push starts to swing through into B side. Mob can withstand the force. He's able to get one. Kaiser then converts off the back of that, but the retake could come through quite quickly, a jam, with the amount of utility that's left.
Yeah, absolutely, and the firepower advantage will help, although Mixer being a bit of a thorn in the side, making his presence known in middle, will help things while he's able to close that out, and that does calm the tides a bit. These T-sided players are now feeling a bit more like fish in a barrel. This retake comes through, that's good kills coming through, and now it's just Elo trying to pick up this clutch. This is such a tough position. Really nice flash, but Kaiser's also blinded. Elo trying to dance around the white box, pick up any kills, but nope, it's going to be the Deagle to close things out. Kaiser locks it in, and that is a big deal to win that round on the T side.
You said it. You put it perfectly at the very beginning, right? That second round crunch from T side, if they can pull that round off, send shockwaves right way through the back lines as far as CT side is concerned. And I mean, look at the setup from Swans. They have nothing to fall back on but Deagles. They do have armor, but no utility at all. It's going to have to be a 3-man stack over towards A and hope for the best towards B side.
Yeah, not an ideal spot for the CT players, but there's always a recoverable position, and we've just seen how all these Deagles can be. Not a good start. Emmy will fall first, and well, kind of hoping for that kill to come through for the CT side to have a bit more of at least a hope coming back into things. We'll have to see if there's any more glimmers of hope, but I'm honestly not seeing it right now.
Just letting this progress through. In red, okay, wins the day, but he's so far just wrapping back into it and continuing to win those 1v1 fights to push the T side through into quite a quick succession towards the Swan's got to dig deep here, but with Mog falling, Moshi not really having a lot to work with. I mean, yes, you get a little bit of lost cash off the back of this. Maybe going for 1 pick would be a good idea for Mosh, but I don't see it happening, right?
Yeah, there's not really any hope of getting anything done here, but there's not going to be a buy-in towards the next round. He might want to save this kit. He's going to drop the smoke, though. The bomb and completely eliminated Red. Even got to team kill. There's 3 kills in return, so more than makes up for it. And it's a nice round from that player indeed. Although, interesting crosshair. Not a fan of it.
Not a fan of that either. I mean, it's a typical Cardiff Pirates player, you know, like bad crosshair. I'm not doing it. Stop it. Okay, I'm stopping myself in advance. I apologise. Swans, though, are losing 2-1 at the moment as Cardiff Pirates take control of a lot of the aggression and kind of like making good use of utility as they're trying to push themselves through into sight. Big pistol round, though. I mean, we've seen eco rounds go completely pear-shaped for T-sides, right? Especially with those USPs, the amount of damage they can do from single tap headshots. It's all about timing. Mixer comes off the better against that 1v1 on Elo, but I don't think they would expect the boost to be here. Good finish off there from me. I mean, like, perfect. Yeah, placement as far as the boost is concerned.
Yeah, but look at the reaction. The T-side's immediately rotating over towards B. Moshi's going to spot the first few players. It's just a matter of anyone else can come to help them stop this aggression. Really nice kill, actually, there. Double dink coming through. A couple kills coming through, actually. This is an expensive round, and T-side are definitely in a bit of hot water if they want to convert this one. Nice swing, and Emmy going to go down, but the rifle's retrieved. 1 versus 2 will get tapped down by Red. I think Red has been an outstanding player so far for this T-side, but that was a real spot of trouble for a minute.
Yeah, there was. I mean, you put that AK in the right position, and that that round even goes Swansea side easily, right? I mean, the boost was a very good idea to put into practice. Red managed to get the first connection through smoke. You know, the AK falls, and just, you know, I think it would have probably been better trying to retake after plant, allowing T's a little bit room to kind of maneuver themselves around to catch them on those, you know, catch them on their turns. That's the word I'm trying to get out my mouth. I couldn't speak there for a second. But you're right, though. Red 6-2 at the moment, 3 KD. Doing very well indeed for the Cardiff side. A question for you, actually, from that pistol round. P2000, yes or no?
You know, I think it really depends on what makes you feel more comfortable. Right now, the way the meta is swinging, you know, a lot of these different gun choices come down to personal preference. If you feel more comfortable with the P2K, then by all means go for that gun. Because at the end of the day, if you're feeling it and your shots are hitting, then it doesn't really matter what gun's in your hands. The bullets are doing damage, right?
Yeah, I agreed. I mean, it pulled off one frag off the P2000. For me, I've always favoured the USP, but I think it's because it's the gun you start with, right? Like, I feel like you kind of build up into the P2000 once your gameplay gets better and better. Red, however, gets taken out. He was performing better and better. Does add a 7th onto his kill sheet, but is taken down in the end. Wally there put another one on the board for the Swans side. 3v2, and I mean, the health pool favours the CT side of things, but loss of bomb control doesn't really help this Cardiff side either.
No, absolutely not. Bit of a stalemate here as both teams are vying for this bomb control, and you can see the Pirates, they're ticking down and losing players. Mixer has it all to do, trying to take some space, but no time remaining. Even if Elo falls, I don't think it's going to be a 1-round. Emmy's just running for the hills, just content with winning the round. Mixer's going to go down before the time, so there's a little bit of a lost cash bonus into the coffers there, but that could have been a real swing round. And the fact that Swansea, they're able to keep 2 alive, that's okay. You know, ideally you want to keep 3 alive for the health of the economy, but if that really got down to 1 player, then actually, you know what? The Pirates are completely going against my narrative. I said if there's 1 player alive, it makes sense to force, but you know what? They're forcing anyway. They're believing Reaper.
2 Galils into the mix, and I mean, you add in that extra bit of utility as well, also from the back of the Galils being picked up. Could swing the round in their favour. Yeah, that crosshairs. Sorry, I'm gonna not comment on that. I get. When I looked at it first, I was like, it was up against a white background, so I could see it perfectly. But there is no crosshair for me. Now there is, but now there isn't. You know. I don't like that colour.
Well.
It's too dark for me. But this is a crosshair likened to my own, to be honest, actually, from Mixer.
It is. There's more and more interesting sets of crosshairs that I'm seeing from players every day. But in any case, Kaiser throwing out the Nico smoke, and this is a good set of utility to get ramp control. It does give Emmy a few different one-way angles to work with, and it looks like the Swans actually want to fight for this control. This is not a good idea. Emmy's going to fall, and that could come tumbling down like a stack of cards, but luckily, the rest of the Swans retreat back in towards the site. I can see why they did something like that, having a bit less firepower, a bit less utility. But really, I don't know if the risk is worth the reward in that kind of a situation, because you hold ramp for that much longer, but eventually you're going to have to give up that control with this many players around. Now, though, we move past the mid-round and we're starting to see the end game of the Pirates. They throw the utility out and really on the island, trying to stay alive, gets one kill, trying to get a second, and just a bit of damage done, and that's going to trigger Mog, but there's no real supporting utility behind it, and that's just not an ideal spot to be. It does seem as though the Swans want to save in this case, but you know what, they're going to go for a little bit.
That smoke could come in handy, but Red's in such a good position here to stop this from happening. Oh, you're just not going to retake with a player in that position, especially going in blind. That smoke would have probably been good suited or better suited to call out Red as a position there. You know, pop the smoke, allow him to shoot through the smoke. Then he got a bit more information to work with. Okay, we know we can kill, or we can try and secure a kill on that right hand side of bomb. It's the other two players that we then need to worry about. But yeah, not to be for the Swan side, unfortunately. They do go 2 rounds in difference as far as score is concerned.
Interesting setup here. I think the Pirates assume that the Swans have actually pushed through middle, which is why you see a Molotov at the bottom of the ladder there.
Yeah.
Of course, we can see it's just Mog kind of standing around mid, just being like, guys, anyone here? But you know, I like to see a bit of caution coming through, even though it's just a pistol round. These things can quickly tumble out of control, as we've seen from both sides already. And really, it's just a matter of taking the game at your own pace, hitting your shots, and there you go, there's a good enough start, 2-for-1 trade, and the Pistols are going to have to try and gamble stack this.
Oh, big kill from Molly. That's nice. I was about to mention how surgical this counter side have been with their utility as well. I mean, that Molly is a double Molly to, you know, kind of ward off players that are holding short on side. Wally? Okay.
Should not be doing things with a USP, let alone a stake in winning the round. This is set up perfectly for Mog and Moshi, the double M's, to steal this round away. And now it's just Red, the star player for the Pirates, to hold off these remaining 2 CT side players. That Molotov is good to push out the players from the position. Moshi will go down. I don't know if Red's going to read into Mog's spot, and just as he fades over, spots the player out and is able to close out the round, but that got way too close.
Indeed it did. I mean, Wally should never be getting away with frags like that, right? I mean, like that's nuts. That could have been completely round. It nearly was round changing as far as the setup's concerned. But yeah, I mean, all falls on Red's shoulders. I mean, it does seem to be a reoccurring theme at the moment for this Cardiff side, right? Having Red kind of pull up the slack a little bit of other players getting caught out in awkward positions, and you know, maybe getting caught on timings round after round there. But things slow down a little bit as we head into the 8th round. Just smattering of utility going here, there, and everywhere as far as both sides are concerned.
You know, I like to see this change of pace a little bit from the Pirates here. You know, they've won a couple of rounds. They're just trying to calm the tides, change the pace a little bit, and that can be problematic, especially for the Swans, who will be a little bit more utility. Emmy taking a big risk right there, but is rewarded with a kill, and that might make the Pirates think twice about heading over towards ramp. We'll have to wait and see. You can see Pirates being very cautious again, and you know, it's warranted against the rifles, but when you're 2 to 5 up on the T side, you might be afforded a bit more recklessness. How's he gotten away with that one? The second kill. You know, I can't even hate that. It gets a lot of info, sees the bomb, gets another kill, and that does actually set up the Swans for a winning position if they don't manage to fumble it.
Red chiming in the background once again to kind of curse us both.
Make his presence known, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I'm still here, by the way. Let me just kill this player over here. Although we'll get one, not one, but two straight back to back. Gets warded off with a grenade. Red, last man standing in 1v2. Time is running out though. He's not going to have enough time to get that bomb plant. Just try and go for an extra frag or two here if possible, but they'll get taken out in the end just after time, I think that was.
Yeah, that's not an ideal spot to die in. Although it doesn't look like Red's been punished too much. 14 and 4, you're going to build up a stack of cash. Kaiser, on the other hand, with 1.8k, is going to have real trouble. I don't know really what the game plan is here. You don't have any loss bonus, and Kaiser's not really going to be able to buy up moving forward. It's going to be a partial investment. It's interesting, but it is going to be a few rounds until we see the Pirates have a full gun round, unless they do something miraculous and pick up a bunch of rifles in this situation. But you can see, whether it's inspired by cash or other means, Wally invested in that MP9 trying to farm a bit of cash on these pistols, perhaps.
Do not knock the MP9 in it. I mean, we've seen literally we've been caught out so many times with it before. Oh, this boost.
I've not seen this before.
No,
I won't lie. It's a really big risk to take, but you know what? That's so much space forfeited over, and the setup was perfect. Moshi picks up 2, and that eliminates a bit of a threat. Here comes the other prong of this attack, and that will be Wally traded out. Just Kaiser and Mixer left, and I've got to say, the Pirates in any sort of situation can't really count them out.
No, I mean, the utility, I mentioned this earlier, the utility's been kind of surgical from them throughout the entirety of the first half so far, and that smoke boost, so ratty, right? But if it works in principle, crack on by all means. I've just never, caught me off guard. I've never seen that kind of boost come through from a set of players. Super dangerous, but if the smoke lands right, I mean, you're going to get a lot of info. It doesn't pay off in the end, of course, but if that's the kind of positions that we should expect from the Pirates for the rest of this half, then all power to it. And we will finish off the round, however, and put number 4 on the board for the Swans side. Still one round the better there in favour of the Pirates.
Ooh, interesting buy coming through from the Pirates.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'm a fan of this, especially with Emmy bringing out the AWP.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on the positioning again. I mean, if Emmy's able to get... We've seen him jump down and get 1 or 2 picks in quick fashion. Depends how quickly he can get out of that situation, though. If there's the quick fashion that we talked about, Kaiser there will fall. His coverman's more or less immediately flashed our position, right? And has to immediately back off. That forces Emmy out of place as far as that AWP control. He's able to reset with good time, at least anyway. Good kill there. 1-for-1 trades. Red there coming off the batter. Again, Jammer. Seems to be a reoccurring theme from the Pirate side.
Yeah, absolutely. A real bright spot for this squad. And now we're going to get some site control. Emmy boosted up and is able to take out Directs. Pretty good position to be in. And Red tagged down low. I've got to say the Swans have set themselves up perfectly.
Oh, that smoke doesn't fade in time for Red to be able to catch off the wall. Doesn't matter whether... I said surgical with utility. Man surgical with an AK as well. You put anything in his hands, evidently, and he's able to put it to good work. Mixer there holding the short angle. She will get a connection onto Red. Mog's tapped, but does have a defuse kit. To hold and stick this and pray he doesn't get caught off guard, but Mixer's quick on the draw. Managed to kill him in the end.
Yeah, real nice subtleties coming through there. Apart from, Red's impeccable aim, the kind of jostling for position in that post plant is everything. I think, it was Moshi holding down that Molly on short side. And when you've got one kind of side of the map, Molly down, and the bomb being planted in the position it's in, you really can't afford to waste those seconds just holding that Molotov. You need to kind of take the initiative, try and take space across the map, and this is exactly what the Pirates are doing at the start of this round. A complete flip, a reversal of the pace. All of the kills coming through on the B side, and that site control forfeited straight over. Really nice to see it. I've got to say the Pirates are calling a wonderful T side starting off this half.
Starters, you mean to go on, it feels like, for the Pirates.
Okay. All right
then.
What do you even say about that?
Yeah, I no comment really. I mean, for me, to be honest, it's just you know,
When
as
you're
a
feeling it, you're feeling it, right?
yeah. I mean, if you've got a good vibe from things and crack on. I keep saying crack on all the time. I will get it into your vocabulary at some point. It will happen. Wally with the MP9 gets one. Not going to be able to connect on to another. It does get finished off in the end, and you know, it's just happily hiding away with that eagle and the body armor. No head armor though, but I mean, this is an eco again, right? From the Swansea side.
Well, you say that every time we've called an eco, it seems like the pirates want to force into things. We'll have to see.
I don't think they got the money to force into this. I mean, what, like 2,000 sub for each player?
Yeah, I mean, the
pistol
CT
upgrades,
side
right?
economies. Yeah, it's just such a fragile state on the CT side. You can't really afford to throw these rounds away, especially that we're getting to the latter stages of this half. Sorry, not these halves. But in any case, I've got to say, you know, this is well, initially it looked really good for the Swans. I think things have really kind of fallen or slipped between the fingers. You know, there were opportunities for them to get a couple rounds, but on the CT side of Vertigo, you're really hoping for a little bit more.
5 or 6 rounds on the CT side, and I think you'd be pretty happy going into the second half. Should be happy,
Yeah.
at least anyway. But, like, you lose to a landfall like this, where it's just round after round having to be forced onto the goal and not really being able to connect too much off the back of it, then you're going to suffer into that T side. Don't forget as well, Jam, these are best of ones, you know, so one and done.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's Wally trying to make something out of nothing. He's able to kill the planter, but not much else apart from that. Emmy picks up an AK. This is a 1v1 out of nowhere. And suddenly there's an opportunity, but look who is holding down the site. It's Red and the clinical precision to take Emmy down. Coming out of nowhere to put an 8th round on the board.
They're still heroes in my heart, Jam.
20-6.
Yeah, that's. I mean, do you want to see ADR?
You know what?
I kind of want to see ADR as well, though. So we're gonna do that very quickly. Yeah. Okay. 161 ADR. Oof. Indeed.
An oof. I thought you were gonna go for the classic ReaperSteve. Sheesh.
No, I got told I was too old to use that. So. Yeah.
Oh, what? That's
yeah.
Outrageous. You're never too old.
Apparently, I'm elderly now. This was a tweet, by the way. Someone sent me a tweet, and it was like,
okay, right.
People over the age of 13 to stop saying the word sheesh. And I was like, why am I getting called out? Like, what's going on here?
What is this personal attack?
Yeah. Speaking of being called out, I mean, the AWP was set up in a position to take that initial pick, but nothing came his direction. We can see, obviously, from the minimap that things are kind of well suited to now push up towards him, but that hot flash just disrupts that plan entirely. The smoke deployed, frag grenades get thrown, and yeah, he's quite happily taking himself back away and towards the site and calling in for a little bit of help in the form of reinforcements.
Is that a push in middle through to ladder?
Yeah.
Indeed it is. Okay, Morgan Wally taking all of the risk. And we'll see if risking it for the biscuit is worth it. There's 30 seconds left. If they don't see any players towards B at this stage, you can kind of rest your laurels in the fact that it's over towards A. Emmy just giving up a lot of space, and you know what? With the amount of smokes on the board, you can kind of give it. There's no kits though, so this is have to be a real quick retake coming through. It's not easy with the AWP. Wrap coming through could be instrumental. Spotted early from the top of ramp, and now again the T side feeling like fish in a barrel, but these fish are piranhas and then biting back. Mog though, that's impeccable aim. Takes down 3, and that's a nice 3-piece. Emmy will close things out. That's a 5th round, and it couldn't have come sooner.
Incredibly important round for the Swans as they managed to sink the pirate ship. I like what I did there. No one else will, but I liked it. I mean, okay, killing Red initially is instrumental, right? As far as that round is concerned. So, I mean, Red getting taken out of the fight by Wally, I think it was actually on that ladder push. Like, that's perfect. And as you said rightly, as soon as they start getting like 35, 40 seconds left in the clock, you don't see anything pushing its way up towards B. There's only one option that's going to bring you B, and you start wrapping your players around to get that pincer in position.
Well, where do we go from here? Round 14, penultimate round. Need to try and get at least one more round here if you're on the Swansea side, on the CT side, for those of you at home. Of course, it's a bit harder for you guys to know who we're talking about because it's just counter-terrorist and terrorist, but in any case...
We should probably mention that.
Yeah, just let the people know.
Yeah.
In any case, there's a death in middle, Reaper. Are we going to solve this murder mystery?
I mean, it's obviously Mog, right? He's pushed himself through, got that middle kill there on Zyrex, and now it's just a case of trying to figure out where the rest of the cards kind of fold into the deck. She's standing by, however, that smoke is going to pop out to give a little bit of cover. Well, she's in a very good position to take on that initial peak. Picks up the first, a second, goes for a third. He's a bit greedy here with this, I feel, but you'll get it. Red actually finishes him off in the end, but the CT secure, out for blood, as you mentioned before. And Swans, believe it or not, do bite.
They do. They're quite aggressive, aren't they?
They are very aggressive. We have okay, I'm a little childhood thing for you. In Swansea, there's a place called Singleton Park, right? Massive, like, humongous park. They do concerts and all that kind of stuff in there, but there's a big pond with loads of swans and ducks in it. I got bit by a swan in that pond. Anyway,
disastrous.
It was
take your revenge.
It was a horrific moment in my my 9 years of age at that point. Put me on swans for life.
Yeah, how do you deal with that PTSD?
We had one for Christmas when that job we did, by the way, just in case anyone tells royalty, and then we had like MI5 kicked down the door. Yeah, Christmas dinner one year. Oh yeah,
now that was revenge.
That was revenge. Yeah, Swans do bite back. I mean, I said 6 rounds earlier, right? 6, 7 rounds, you'd be okay, happy-ish going into the seaside with that. Starting off like that isn't going to get you a 7th, however, and we will fall. Well, she has hands on the ult, but Mog's going to fall as well also. I've switched that, mate. I'm going for it. It's done.
Oh, you cast the curse yourself.
Oh, I did it myself. Can we get a little counter on the screen every time Reaper or Jammer cast the curse? So I think you've had like 3, and I've had probably like 2 now at this point.
It goes against usual form. I wasn't actually laughing at you at that point. I was just laughing at the comedic situation of the CT side's rifle just sticking around the corner a little bit and then just peeking out to his death. I don't know. In any case, this is a retake. Final round of the half, and the Swans are really trying to steal this one away. Moshi doing anything, but it's just red. Seeing red.
Indeed it is. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a very kind of final way of dealing with that half, right? It's not really much more to say into it. I think we're going to jump straight into the second half. In fact, I thought there would be like a little bit of a warm-up, so bear with. There we go. We should be back on game screen now, so you can all see the gameplay. Yeah, normally there's like a little bit of a break in it. Oh yeah, we're too used to in ESEA actually. That's what that is. Where there's like the couple of the minute or 2 in between first and second half, Jammer. I'm not going mad, am I? That genuinely does happen, doesn't it?
No, it does happen. Don't worry.
I thought it was, the Wii was silent there for a couple of seconds. Like I've gone. My brain's gone.
No, you're good. What isn't good though is the Pirates. They've just completely forfeited the site. Mix is getting some kills though. They snipe down these players. There's a clothesline in the middle of the site, and the players are running into it to their deaths. It does seem as though... what is that? Jeez. Mixer just ripping the players out the server. Really good round from him.
There's absolutely no arguments from me there, to be honest.
No.
I'm going to mute my microphone. I'm just going to be easier. I can't wait to see what the reaction is in 2 minutes' time when people hear that. That's so cringe. Yeah, absolutely no arguments for me on that one. I mean, Mixer just basically held it down, right? He locks in that position and he just starts tapping heads. That second kill for me, like, muy bueno, perfect. Exactly what you want to see from your CT site hole player that's kind of tucked in a little bit deep. You're getting pushed back and he just... Cool, calm, collective, start slapping 4 heads as quick as he possibly can.
Yeah, really good round there, but Need to try and continue that form. Of course, without a bomb plant, the Swans don't have a lot of cash to work with. There won't be an investment. And that investment is going to lead to a lot of T-side player deaths. 4 of them coming through in quick succession. It's just Wally left with a bomb on the back and a Glock in hand. Does catch Red with a nade out, though that mistake is not going to happen again. It's just a matter of time before Wally falls to the wayside, and that's 11 rounds from the Pirates.
That 2-minute clock is counting down, by the way, every time I see it. It's going to be bad. Yeah, I mean, a good round, again, coming in from the Pirates, adding number 11 on the board. I think the thing to take away from that is they didn't really, the Swan side didn't really have the impact that they could have potentially had in that first round. Getting the bomb plant, you said, is instrumental as far as trying to take that second round back after the first round loss. It doesn't happen, it doesn't pay off. So they're kind of forced into this awkward position where they only have really like Glocks to work with, not a lot of utility, no armor. They're pushed into potential SMGs, rifles as well. It's a very hard mix for those like new people watching who've not watched CS before. It's a very difficult second round if you're in that kind of position. But third round in, and I mean, like, we do see a full stack of AKs. We see a smattering of utility across all 5 players as far as the Swans are concerned. CT side sticking strong to guns, however, 2 MP9s and M4 and a FAMAS in play. And just a lot of utility, like a lot of utility to kind of throw into this.
Yeah, that's by virtue of playing really far back on this A site. You can see how the terrorist side are just walking up very cautious, wary of any kind of janky setups that the counter-terrorists have set up. But nope, it's just a very passive setup. Got these nades thrown down to kind of prevent a immediate plant. And you can see you'll do chip damage. Moshi actually taken down from that utility, so good investment use there. We're straight in towards the post plant because it was locked in. Another smoke going down actually will hold off this post plant situation. Awkward actual push. Mark's going to lock down the smoke, and 1-for-1 trade coming through. There you go, that flash will trigger the push, and the trade's come through. It is benefiting this T side way more, and Elo just standing up strong. 2 kills, Wally with 1 HP, able to stay alive, and that's just a really nice conversion. Crispy aim from the T side, and that is a 7th conversion. The Swans are still in this.
Yeah, the Swans have just jacked up the ante. Oh god, they've just they've jacked up the ante. I'm sorry, I haven't really got many Swans puns, to be honest with you. So just having to pull things out of the rafters. But yeah, I mean that's ramping things up quite nicely as far as T side's concerned. Putting that extra on the board, doing that, a lot of damage to economy as far as CT side's concerned. As you said, CT economy isn't the best as well to kind of work with in these sort of scenarios. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Pirates kind of conform with the Deagles, and we've seen them pull off a stellar, second round victory there in the first half. Can they continue it? What is that?
Oh no,
my god.
How have they done that? Just Moshi left alive, AK's being retrieved, and the CT side has stolen one out of the bag. That's... Why doesn't my Deagle work like that?
Yeah, I mean, I've never... Like, they fell into place. Both of them did. And then Red's just waiting. Red's like, I can hold. I got nowhere to go, I got nowhere to be.
The ducks just fell into place, Reaper.
Swans aren't ducks, Jammer. Okay?
Look, we're trying, okay? Look, okay, I got a different one for you then. Swans are trying to change the pecking order.
Okay, that's fine. I'll give you that one.
There we go. Redeem myself.
Sort of. Yeah, I mean, like, they just fall into place, and it's a simple 2-tap. We follow up with another 1-tap on the backside of things as far as Red's concerned, and this round is already kicking off. Mog straight into Kaiser's face, takes him down with a lot of damage actually there in return. Actually, no, that's on a separate player entirely away from that fight. That being Elo. Can't recover the rifle though. Just way too far out of distance for them, so they're gonna still have to kind of build momentum with pistols here.
Yeah, it's a good start, but I think there's quite a bit more mountain left to climb. Red getting early information, might just lose his life out of that. 1-for-1 trade.
Big nade.
I was literally waited with bated breath for that kill to come through, and it just didn't transpire. CSGO nades, please fix. Anyway, the CT side just going to sit back. These rifles haven't done enough damage. I'm surprised to see the round in this situation.
surprised to see Wally didn't stick the first tap. I mean, okay, get it for better information, but you don't really have any players kind of back up to help out there. Did the push through. Zyrex, on the other hand of things, is going to finish off 2 players of his own. Trouty's there to try and support. Picks up the other 2. Moshi finishes off Zyrex, and I mean, losing 3 players to a CT side like that, it's not really going to do as much impact as you want it to, right? Look at the economy as far as it stands at the minute. Like, they can afford to keep dropping 3 players, having to rebuy back in for a good few rounds.
Yeah, I mean, every little helps to chip away at that economy, because it really is fragile. You know, just a few rounds' time, we might be singing a different script. But in any case, I just want to circle back to Wally kind of baiting out the plant there. That's purely by virtue of Moshi dying in one of the previous rounds from utility. So kind of conditioning coming through there from the CT side to kind of force that bait plant.
Don't forget, of course, we do still have one other match after this one finishes. Should have started about 20 minutes ago, but obviously with our tech issues earlier on, I think they have pushed back map start time, but I will clarify that and find out for you in a few. Just going to let this round kind of marinate a little bit more and digest it once it's all ready to go. I got talking about food now. Sorry, you continue.
All right, let's steer away from food.
Yeah,
we'll circle back round to it.
Yeah.
In any case, sandbags, not very good food, but this setup could be everything. It's going to force out a play. I'm surprised that they didn't commit to that with Red smoke. If Red just smokes that out, they know at least one player's there. You can get one of these players peeking out and trying to get some info, but there's a bit of a misplay, maybe a bit of miscommunication. Suddenly, this A site has been called under question. Going to pull the rotations, and well, looking at the money, this is going to be a committal from the ZD side. Although it's fairly disjointed, Kaiser full, Zyrex pulls one back into favor. I've got to say that this is not looking initially so great, but you know what is? Zyrex's aim! 3 kills coming through, and that completely shuts down anything I was talking about. 4 kills in the round, and that's an outstanding play.
That's perfect. I mean, just well executed retake onto site. I mean, it's basically like straight from the playbook, you know, as far as retakes are concerned from Zyrex. You and I have had the really fortunate ability to kind of watch him play over a number of different seasons as far as the SCA is concerned, and seen him kind of grow strength to strength as a player through EsportsWales and through our other areas. And it's nice to see him play with quite a lot of flair like he has done. Yeah, utility coming through from the CT side. Apologies for cutting you off. Sorry.
No. Take it away.
He's in such a naughty position there. Gets the first one onto Moshi. He does get traded out in the end, but Mixer's there to back things up. Gets another off his own back. And I mean, like, it's like while you've been kind of talking and we've been kind of watching bits and pieces, just watching the way the mini map kind of evolves. As soon as there's contact called, that middle player immediately rotates. As soon as there's, you know, we've got 2 push in sight, I've taken 2, there's 1 extra, that rotation still happens, but it's kind of like a tentative push. It's, you know, it's not a full committal to pushing in towards B side. Player I'm talking about, by the way, is Kaiser. He's holding up towards middle earlier on. He swings immediately around towards B, but he's kind of holding CTB, so he's got a good avenue of approach if he wants to. That's left there for him. But Mixer doesn't need anyone just yet. Does get one in the form of Elo. Will fall in the end to Mog's Molly. 40 seconds left on the clock. They do have bomb in hands. That will go down in the end. But Kaiser slips through the back lines. Gets one. And he finishes him off. 1v2 jammer. And retakes all coming from CT side. Oh, good first.
Nice start. One more to find. Emmy dancing around the white box. Trousy's trying to do anything. Trying to jiggle around, but Emmy's just too strong with it. 3 kills in the round to lock in another. And this is so back and forth, but that initial Pirates lead is actually coming back to kind of haunt things. There's so much riding on these rounds. And I've got to say, you know, even though the Swans have been coming back into things, this is seemed fairly dominant from the Pirates side. I just hope that, you know, the Swans can show a little bit more, push things at least to double digits, make things at least respectable, and we can talk about not necessarily a comeback, but, you know, we'll have an actual game on our hands.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we talked about this prior to, and I mentioned it to you earlier. This is one of those maps, or one of the two-team lineups for today, which could go quite a distance. And Swans biting back the way that they are. I mean, it could still, continue to go all the way the distance. There's OT, by the way. Just reminding myself before we get to that point. It could go quite a fair way towards OT, to be honest. 14 rounds to 9. Yeah, there's a few rounds afloat there, of course, which I think I think the Swans players would be a bit happier if they weren't, but we've seen it happen before with games across a wide spectrum of talents, right? 9 and 14, then immediately go into 14-14, we're into OT territory, or even swing at that point. Depends how deep the Pirates can dig into the next couple of rounds. Yes, we're gonna have equals coming up. We do have a player DC as well, but that will fix itself momentarily. How deep can they dig after this round? Pistols only into this one, maybe? No buy, nothing whatsoever. I mean, I think mix a buy-in defuse kit. It's got a deagle already. You might as well spend that a little bit extra, right? Rest of the players holding on to their economy. You can buy upgraded FAMAS, potentially M4s into the next if they're able to get a kill or two off the back of it. And then you've got 2 clean rounds to work with. Or am I just spitting facts and it doesn't make any sense?
No, you're right on the money there. I mean, the Pirates have rounds to work with. It is 9-14, and we've seen flashes of brilliance from both of these squads. Namely, some star players kind of showing up in a big way on the Pirates, and then a little bit more. I want to say like team play coming through from Swan. But
Swans.
sorry, the Swans.
Thank you.
Some respect on their name.
Yeah, please. I'm sitting right here with you. Come on. I've seen a message in chat, and in 2 minutes' time, we're going to hear me laugh over this. But Pirates GG just said it's just the one Swan, actually. Hot Fuzz, come on, please tell me you've seen it, Jammer.
I've seen it. I'm trying to recall. I'm trying to wind back the memory banks to trigger that.
I got you. Nick Frost goes into the shop, and the woman says to him, "Any like catching them swans?" Then, and he goes, "Just the one, actually."
Yes. Okay. Yes. You've spared the old memory dogs.
Yeah. Sorry, stream, by the way. We do this every now and again. We just go off on a tangent. It's not our fault, technically. It's the player's fault for DCing, in fairness.
Yeah, just send all your angry tweets towards Trousy by all means.
Don't do that. We're not promoting that at all. Okay? We're on about that life, right? Didn't come in tweet longer in about like 25 minutes. I'm very sorry for what Jammer said on stream. But no, I mean, 14-9, going back to what we're here for, right? 14-9, still strong numbers from both teams, and it could swing either way from both teams. But you mentioned it perfectly. You kind of like steered me in the right direction with this. But the Pirates, in theory, have rounds to play with. They've got a couple of rounds before it starts to get squeaky bum time as far as they're concerned. As far as round differences as far as round difference is made up. Fully going into this one and kind of saving all that money for a bit of glory for the final couple of rounds wouldn't be too bad of an idea, I suppose.
Yeah. I've just noticed this is a battle of the aquatic teams, the Swans versus the Pirates. We're all out to sea, and it does seem that we're going to be in rough seas for the Swans. The Pirates are storming their storming their golden egg banks.
Let's stop now. Let's just
no. I was just waiting for you to cut me off.
Also, by the way, we normally do knife watching, knife round. I will say that for definite. But I've noticed a few things as we were going through. Obviously, we saw that at the very beginning, right? That's a pretty good setup. Love the good matchup between gloves and knife. Find the player. That, however, that's very nice.
That's spicy.
It's nice. It's very nice. That is like, I'm trying to remember the TikTok meme when it's like, man, it's all right, and then you go to that one. This is unbelievable. You know what I mean? Like it seems to be going through in stages. But
there's tears to this.
There is tears to this, and then the Slater right at the end.
It's a nice little appetizer.
I don't mind the Sledder. I mean, people put it in the same bracket as Shadow Daggers. Why, I wouldn't know. Because, I mean, like, Shadow Daggers were the best knife I've ever owned.
Right. Even when they shake your screen.
Let's not talk about that, okay? We don't need to focus on that point at all, okay?
I'll be honest. I was right there with you for a little bit. You know, I was like, oh, Shadow Daggers get a little bit too much hate, and then someone told me they shake your screen, and now I
They do.
can't unsee it.
Yeah, no, they really do. If you put live crosshair over it as well, you can see the crosshair shifting, and it really,
No.
yeah, it's bad. It's really bad. I was like, this is not, it's not it. When someone pointed out to me, I was like, I need to get rid of these now. And now I have a
Oh, we're
bayonet.
back in CS,
Back in CS anyway. Moving swiftly forward before we get into skins talk and all that kind of stuff. Because we could probably talk for hours in relation to that, in fairness. Jump back into the gameplay. A very slow start to this round, Jammer, from a side which should realistically know that they're pushing into an eco.
They know. They will know. But
Yeah.
the thing about this round is we've seen so many deaths to pistols and the double doinks coming through from the players like Red, Mixer. You're just so wary of it. You need to take your time. You need to be cautious. You need to take space together as a team. And that should hopefully lead to a bit of success. There's an opening kill. I don't think they're aware of Red just yet. Mixer picks up a Deagle kill, and there's a little bit more danger, an element of it perhaps, as that AK is retrieved. But you can see the A site's open and free, so it should be calm seas from here onwards for the Swans.
Stop. Yeah.
We should commit to this.
We should commit to it. We should commit to it, in fairness. I mean, who will rule the high seas of Welsh Esports League? Obviously not the Swans, because they're a freshwater animal. But at the same time...
Unless you're Jack Swan, in which
Unless
case
you are, yes.
Swan and
Yeah.
the pirate.
It's very true. What a great film series. We go off on tangents way too often.
Yeah, I was waiting to see if we were going to commit to this one or not.
I mean, yeah, for those who are watching CS potentially for the first time, this is kind of what it's like, though. I mean, you get to that point around like that, right, where there's not really much to talk about because everyone's very content with allowing the round to finish. You do often, your mind wanders throughout the evenings, you know. 10-4 is the scoreline. Kind of expected, though, Jammer, in fairness, considering the eco that the Pirates were on at that point in time. This is what I'm now referring to earlier on with the way that you do that full eco. No one buys anything. Yes, there was a single deagle in the mix bought before the player disconnect. But now you have money to work with. You buy those M4s. You put yourself in good positions like that. I mean, good pick from Zyrex. Just straight up takes that all clean out of the fight. Big green drops. He's even gutsy enough to stay around for one more. Gets Marshy off. A simple push. Gets a third. Like, this is quality placement as far as putting that M4 in the right position. And that's
honestly, I was just gonna say, I'm honestly astounded there wasn't more of a reaction from the Pirates. They literally just stuck Zyrex on an island, and well, this Pirates found his booty because it just ripped heads on the stairs. Now there's a reaction coming through. Now's the rotation, but it's completely towards the wrong side of the map. They should have just committed, left Zyrex over there, and sailed off to find some long lost treasures. It is going to be this A-site committal, and well, Trowsy will convert 2 through the smoke. That will help things moving forward, and that's a 15th round. This might be all said and done for the Swans.
Evidently, Auto Director's been on the run as well, because it just went to third person for no reason whatsoever. You know, sticking with the nautical theme. 15-10 is the scoreline. I kind of called it as it was happening, more or less. There, to be honest, you know, you do that full eco, you buy into the next one, you put players in good positions, you expect those pushes to come through, and when they do, you commit off the back of it, and you know, put Zyrex in a man in his own position like that. 22 and 18, he's gonna commit to it. You know, he's gonna make sure that works perfectly, as far as he's concerned. Trowsy again. Hey, sort your intent out.
You know what? I think we can have a bit of sympathy for that sentiment. The ISP providers in the UK are a little bit hit and miss at times. So
I agree, 100%. Currently going through some issues with my own, for the upload, hence why we don't have cameras.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, my upload rate is leaves a lot to be desired. I think it's probably the better way of putting
Insufficient.
it. Oh yeah, definitely. My download was like I did a speed test. Yeah, yesterday evening, early evening. Tend to do them about 4 or 5 o'clock because it's peak time, right? There's a lot of people online and whatever. So my network should be at its most stable at that point. As far as like getting a speed test, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, you're gonna have like 100 over 100, right? 2 at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you're gonna get a more realistic thing of what you're gonna get throughout the evening. So I did it yesterday about 5 o'clock, and my upload was 448 or something like that. I think it was. Sorry, my download was 448. My upload was 15. I was like, these two numbers don't make any sense to me.
This is not confused.
This is not the way that things should work on the internet. And then rung them, and I was like, by the way, I work in IT. And the guy was like, cool, have you turned it off and on yet? I was like, my man, yes, I have. Oh, speaking of turning things off and on again, Mixer's just turned off 3 heads back to back there. You little Wally and Margot fall to the fury of an M4, where the position is lost in some ways also. Zyrex is having to push himself super deep into a kind of a hit or miss position for me personally. You're in that placement, you're expected to get that first pick. You don't secure that first one, game over. But he hasn't really got a lot to worry about because the rest of the players from the T side of things are spread elsewhere. Picking up his first of this round, getting that initial pick that onto red. That calls a little bit of favour around for Marshy. Marshy's able to secure the kill in the back onto Trowsy, who's back after his internet connection issues, but not able to do anything with internet. And, I mean, that round goes T-side.
Yeah, that's a real juxtaposition of a round. Mix picking up 3 kills, dying, and then I think there were some real mistakes in the mid-round there from the CT side. Playing so passive like that is fine, as long as you're in somewhat of a position to kind of, well, you kind of need to commit to some sort of a fight. You can't just sit back and take 3 individual fights and expect to win every single one of them, because you know there's going to be some sort of trade, some sort of gimmick coming through. And it's just a really well-structured round. Marg picking up 2 kills, starting off a good structure for this round, and keeping the Swans' hopes alive. Emmy's helping out, and suddenly the threat of this pistol round has been taken down. Couple of levels actually. Just Mixer with a deagle left in middle. There's a first kill. I think the name of the game though is just keeping that AK.
Yeah, same, to be honest. Crisp first kill with the Deagle, which is, you know, nice to watch out for. But yeah, grab that AK and get yourself shipped off somewhere nicely. Hold on to it. Marshy there will peek into Mixer's waiting crosshair. Marshy's Mixer. Oh, very unlucky there.
Not very pirate-like. Should have buried it in the sand.
Well, sorry, 1 second. It was a Pirates play, wasn't it? Shame. Anyway, moving on. I'm going to get tweeted like hell by Pirates. I know I am already. I welcome it. It is what it is. Yeah, I mean, he's done very well, right? Picking up that AK, takes down a couple of additional players as well. That has an impact into economy. You know, retaining the AK would have definitely helped things as far as swiftly moving forward into round 28, but if it's not to be, it's not to be. But you want to take as many with you as you possibly can, and that's exactly what he's decided to do. Red, on the other hand of things, who's been quiet a little bit throughout the second half. He's done numbers, but hasn't done a lot of work because of the way that ecos are kind of fleshed out. Picks up 2 frags right at the very beginning of the round, taking out 2 quite important players as well.
Yeah, Pirate Redbeard crossing that 30 kill barrier, and that is a good standing to try and lock in the win. This is, of course, a best of 1, so things are starting to get a bit worrisome for the Pirates, just staying on this 14-15 threshold for so long. And you can see that worry isn't going to be put to rest just yet. A lot of space being taken over towards the B side of the map. Marg will lock it in with a smoke and a Molotov, so this retake will have to take a while to come through. In fact, no, looking at the economy, this is a smart play from the Pirates. They're okay. Yeah, they're okay to give up 13. They're okay to just let them have this round. The Swans will stay alive another round, just hoping to push things forward a little bit more. The Pirates, though, they're kind of looking forward as well. They're trying to keep their hopes alive, keep these rifles up. They can drop a couple of those over to Mixer and Zyrex, and that should give them good standing moving forward. If they'd lost all those rifles, you would be talking about a potential overtime situation already.
Yeah, you would. I mean, 3 rifles out of the mix immediately. Zyrex, Mixer, not really going to be able to afford an awful lot as well into the back of that. Yeah, I mean, at this point now, you can afford to drop FAMAS from Red. You know, Mixer could even buy up on his own. Won't have a lot of money for utility, but you could at least buy some armor, and he buys a deagle. Okay. We'll see how that develops. Not sure why there was no FAMAS purchase there. I mean, I might be reading into it wrong, obviously, but
it's a question of longevity. They're treating this somewhat like an eco round, all buying down to about the 2k threshold, and that means that even if the Pirates lose this round, there's still a hope moving forward. Although I think, you know, when you've been this successful and this aggressive so far, why not just commit to the aggression? You know, stack the eggs, play as if you're trying to win instead of trying not to lose. But we'll have to wait and see if this kind of a tactic comes through. A lot of ramp control for the Swans here as they position and jostle for an A site finish. And we get to see what a retake looks like with 2 smokes and 1 kit. There's the execute coming through as the smokes fly over. No damage even really done through the smokes. There you go, bomb locked in. Round 29, petering down to the final embers of this game. Can the Pirates lock things in, or will the Swans push things further? Another smoke dropped, and this is going to be a problem. Mark even has a full belt of utility, but coming through the middle, not going to be able to use it. This is really good kills transpiring. Red in a 1 versus 5 gets 1 kill, but there's no real hope of winning this round at this point. You're just going to try and take this rifle and run, but not even that able to be done. Emmy will lock in a kill. 14 to 15. The Pirates might just fumble the bag.
All that swag lost just at the very end. I mean, imagine if it does go to OT on that alone, right? Like, I'm gonna call the Deagle into question again, because I think that if there was a bit more firepower there, they'd be a little bit more happy about pushing into side control. I know FAMAS, you know, in the right hands is deadly, in the wrong hands is just, you know, put rounds wherever you want to put them. But I feel like having that little bit of extra firepower might have spelt the difference as far as how round 29 went. But Sylvie, it's not for me to say. Or not for us to know, at least, anyway, as we push into the final round.
Real quick probing question. Is this the first time we've seen an AWP in the hands of any pirate?
Yes, this is.
That's really interesting. We've gone a full 30 rounds before the Pirates were pushed in towards using the big green. It seems as though the Pirates want to keep hold of their booty, not to invest too much. That's audacious peak. Red being ticked down quite a lot. I don't know if it's worth holding that bit of map control. You can see, though, the Swans happy to give up at least a bit of space before doubling back. I think just trying to sell the rotation and make the Pirates commit over towards B, and you can see it somewhat worked.
It's been a very arduous kind of attempt to push into the site, to be completely honest with you. Red there holding strong again. As I says it, he gets killed. We move on quickly rather than absorb that bit of cast a curse there. But just happens to happen at the right times. Site control. I mean, taken not in its full by Swans, but they are kind of locking horns with any pirate players that push themselves through into a position to retake. Zyrex got the players back there, mate. Just get the bomb defused. Can he stick it? He isn't able to. Everyone else is falling around him. Moshi gets taken out of the fight, and mate, we have a pirate win.
Captain Redbeard and his crew and make the best of opportunities when you get them. Pirates like big move stepping forward.
It is indeed. I mean, I said this to both Slayer John and you and I talked about it before we even kicked this match off tonight. If there was one that was going to go the distance, it was going to be the opening match, right? Like it had to be. And yeah, 14-15 is the end and scoreline in that one. Long fought out, but well finished in the end. We are going to take a very short break, just we wait for the next map or next match to get lined up for us. We'll be back with you momentarily. And yeah, I think next up, if I'm not mistaken, Jammer, and I'm going to tell you this now, it's going to be the Robins versus the Dragons. So we'll see you shortly.
Cool.
Hello, ladies and gents. We're back. I know, unbelievable. They didn't sack us in the halftime, because of all the terrible puns. Imagine that though for a broadcast title, Jammer. You know. This next game is gonna
Yeah.
have no commentators, by the way. They just had way too many puns in that first map. You see the Esports Insider title of the headline title tomorrow. Anyway, moving on before we get down that rabbit hole. We're jumping into the next game, Jammer. It's going to be Robins versus Dragons.
Yeah.
Dragons,
Going
as
from the
in
sea to the air.
yeah, from the sea, literally from the sea to the air. Oh god, we're already getting cringe. So yeah, I mean, this is Dragons, as in Dragons rugby, by the way. I should point that out also. They're a rugby team in Wales. It's gone right over your head, that hasn't it?
Yeah. No, a rugby team in Wales. Never heard of that.
No.
No.
Robins are from Wrexham. You will know what Wrexham is. And the reason why I know what Wrexham is because of a wonderful TV show. Let's jump into gameplay. Because of the wonderful TV show Welcome to Wrexham. I don't know if you watched it, but it's the one about Ryan Reynolds and I can't remember the guy's name from Always Sunny.
Oh yes, yeah. I was wondering why it sounded familiar.
Yeah, they bought Wrexham Football Club and I've made it like into like a business for themselves. Basically, it's a really good series, by the way. If you get a chance to find it or watch it, I highly recommend it. I have a few friends that live in their own Wrexham as well, also, so it's kind of nice then to see. Because I've never been there to see them. I play games with them, kind of thing, but never actually been there because of how far up north it is from us.
Okay.
It's a good like five-ish hours away from me, maybe a little more. Which is surprising when you think of how small Wales is, but it's still like 5 hours up there because there's no like motorways to get there. Crazy.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I would say knife watch, but we're jumping straight into it basically at this point. The only knife that really has popped out to me is. Oh, it's dead now. I was going to show you
No knife for you.
No knife for me. I do like a butterfly knife though, not gonna lie. Can we get it quickly beforehand? There you go. Case hardened. But that doesn't look like a case hardened.
Looks can be deceiving, Reaper.
Yeah, I know it is. I can see the blue on it, but it does look like a rust coat as well, doesn't it? As well at the same time. No, I don't mean that in a bad way, obviously. I mean that in the sense of how low the light was there and camera angles and. Yeah, I'm not going to get out of that hole, am I? Let's be honest. The Scotsman himself will end up kicking my ass at some point. We should probably give you all a heads up in advance, of course, because we don't have the top bars showing which team's which. So just to make sure we're all on the same page, Robins are on CT side, the Dragons are on T side. I sent Jammer out just before this game started, by the way, to do a little bit of research on player names. Jammer, could you read player number 6 for me, their names? Top of the T side.
Top of T side. Oh, that's the Irish. No. It's Kian. It's Kian. There you go.
He was like, "Is that Sean? Is that?" Go ask him. So sent him on his travels to go find out pronounce the name of a player that I knew so well. But anyway, straight into the mix. We actually get to kill the first man there that we mentioned a few moments ago. But it's trades left and right there, going straight through into the middle. You have one player on site. That's Oro. Catches the backside of one, and Marge Lewis is just like lost to the world there at that point, trying to figure out where that CT player was, and down they all go.
Down to the doldrums of defeat. It is going to be an initial Robin victory, and that's odd because Dragons are so much bigger than Robins. You wouldn't expect it.
No, I mean, evidently they've got their red breasts ready to go, and they're ready to kick some holly, you know? Just go for it. We're going to get sacked before next week.
Yeah, no, I was going to say that must be a violation of some contract.
I know. I'm trying to remember the contract. It was too quick for us to even talk about that round. Proxy J, true Scotsman fashion, picks himself up an ace there into that round. Watched Proxy before, by the way, when we did SEL.
Yes.
So good player there from the Scottish side of things. I don't see a player though that we both kind of looked a little bit shook at in the playlist. And Shuby's not in the server, and I was kind of hoping to see
No.
Shuby.
A little bit disappointing from both our standpoints, but I'm sure that the Robins are happy to see that absence. I mean, sorry, the Dragons are happy to see that absence. Not happy to see how this match has started out, though. 2 quick rounds. It doesn't seem as though the AKs are doing much damage against these MP9s. Aura is finally ticked down low, but Prox is going to help things out. And, well, the CT side is rotating into position. These flashes are relentless, and this is decimation at the hands of the MP9s. That is outstanding work. Just Ritz left alive and gets 2 kills. Does mean that it's a bit threatening, but it really should have been a little bit easier for this T side.
Can the Robins snuff the fire out of this Dragon side before he begins? I mean, if this punishment continues, especially the way that AK's been purchased into the second round, could be in for a very quick matching. But nonetheless, Robins will, in fact, finish that round out. Dream Cheesy picking up the final frag of the 3rd round. I mean, what more can you say about that one? It was a bit of a half-hearted attempt to push into the side that got caught off by multiple players, especially when you consider the swing there with the MP9. A lot of damage being dealt out and a lot of money being accumulated by the CTs.
Yeah, perfectly put. The T side, by virtue of that plant, though, are going to have another opportunity to buy up into this one. The Dragons might yet breathe fire, rain down hell on the Robins. We'll have to wait and see. Interesting to see Proxy keeping that MP9 up in the hand. I don't know, maybe a misbuy, but we'll have to see how that works out moving forward. Good start, though, and that's aggressive from Orao. I'm surprised he got away with that one. Success over onto the other side of the map, well, across the board pretty much, is going to mean that we're edging our way towards a 4-0 start unless Keenan Ritz can pull something miraculous out of the bag.
It's not looking good for the Dragons at the minute. They can kind of make something of this. There's enough of a distance there between those footsteps and Raju for them to not realise the push would be coming, but the frags and flashes that are being meted out by this side will start to reveal intentions immediately. Down to what I understand, and I'm just going to say this now, and I'm going to curse myself 100%, but if the Robins can maintain 5 men up, and they can keep sustaining that through rounds like that, when on the round previous, then we could be putting the Dragons to bed pretty early on, in fairness.
Yeah, a really good start. And I think one of the problems that the Dragons have got right now is just trying to get the Robins to respect them. You know, trying to get this CT side to respect you enough not to just push and get all the info you need to win these rounds. It's going to be aggressive in towards middle, and that will force a little bit of respect out of these CT side players. But this chip damage, this fade away kills, and then repositioning is really proving to be problematic. Tech9s will reposition, and we'll have to wait and see if there's any other avenues where they can garner some success.
Big round here again from Robins, already taking 2 initial players out, that being Congo and Large Lewis. And you can tell how much of a decimation there actually is because of how much this T-side kind of fall to pieces a little bit as soon as they start taking that early aggression, that early bit of fight out of the Robins. Dragons kind of like fade away more or less. Amelia Clark is cheering you boys on. Come on now, sort it out. Game of Thrones reference for you there, ladies and gents. You only get that in EsportsWales Productions. Isaac kills off that initial push and clearly gets taken down in the end. Are we going to say the name in full, or we're just going to go with silly?
I think the preferred pronunciation is Silly Willy, so...
Cool. Okay, I'm glad you did that and not me. Just want to put that on record, John. No.
Okay, yep.
Yep.
Look, we're already so close to getting 5.
Yeah, we're already done. You're already done.
Commit to what the players want, right?
Yeah. 4 weeks of this you got, by the way, until we go into the into the break between then and June. Every Wednesday, 7 PM, the first game starts, and second game should in theory start at 8. But they will from now on in, at least, anyway. I think now the server issues have been kind of sorted out through and through. We will, by the way, show the next couple of lineups as far as matches are concerned over the next week, at least. towards the end of the broadcast. But we're in the moment right now. Egron gets one there from Marshall. But it's just trade for trade at the minute. It's now a 2v4 pushing through in towards the site from the T side. They are going to walk into the waiting crosses of Proxy J. He takes down that initial play. That's Tongu taking out the fight. And it actually buys a bit of time, conveniently, for the Robins, right? For that retake to kind of set itself up. Araju putting himself in a good position there. Proxy takes down Silly Willy elsewhere on the map. And this flipped on its head entirely into round 6, Jammer.
Yeah, that's purely just Proxy just being a thorn in the side of Dragons. And it looks so good for a moment. It's all fallen to pieces by the hands of these remaining 2 CT side players. But they, at least, you know, if you want to look for glimmers of hope, did a fair bit of damage. That is going to chip down a little bit into the economy, and hopefully that can kind of snowball into some T-side success. But at a certain point, you just need to get some rounds on the board, and I think that's what the Dragons are committing to when they're going for this kind of a force buy on the T side.
Got like a role reversal more or less. CTs are really kind of playing it on as far as the dominating side of things. So you have Big Green brought out very early on in the first half. Hands of Isaac, who you're watching, currently trying to take himself in the position to help Proxy out on the B side. Proxy takes down 2 from side to back, and Isaac is just swinging out for shots, trying for anything, gets 2 quick fire kills immediately.
Well,
yeah.
This is really not looking good for the Dragons. I mean, we're trying to like talk about glimmers of hope. We're trying to talk about, you know, things that they can continue to do to get some success, but
it's difficult to do it.
Yeah, it does seem a little bit doom and gloomy.
Yeah.
To start off 7-0, especially this dominant. Or out really challenged. We'll only get 1, and that's an AWP. So that is a glimmer of light and hope. Mixing that up. That's a glimmer of hope that this T-side can work with. But you know what? Proxy is the Scottish hammer raining down hell on towards these players. Isaac there to help out, and this is just a duality of destruction over towards the B site.
Nice.
Isaac
Very
continuing his form. And Large Lewis F5. There's your shout out, chat. Won't be for long though, as Linus Tech will lock in an 8th, and that's starting to run out of like. You start to run out of opportunities when you start to get towards like 8-0, 9-0, and it really can snowball out of control to the point that you kind of lose hope as a player.
I mean, it's very easy to get negative in a game like this. You know, from T-side standing at the moment, as far as the Dragons are concerned, it's just one man peeking into an AK that's waiting for you there, and you're gonna lose that fight unless you really commit that push or peek in while not blind. I mean, you know, having some sense of cover would be nice to get that AK out of the fight, but it doesn't happen. At the back of it, a lot of spray damage there. Actually, on both players, in fact. So he really actually connects off the back of it with the Molotov in the end. There is a bit of a spray through also, but it's not going to help much, unfortunately, as we go 9 rounds to nothing at the moment. The Robins are 100% just dominating this T side as things stand. I normally at this point, Jambo, we'd be in a broadcast with situations like this, and I'd be asking you, you know, if you were on coaching side of things as far as Dragons, what would you be saying in order to kind of like, you know, change things up? But I mean, they're getting caught on timing, it's getting caught with, you know, surgical utility usage from the Robins. I don't really know if there's a lot that you can do in fairness in this one.
Sub Jacket being boys, there you go. Problem.
Bring it in.
I mean, in reality, you kind of just got to take things round at a time, try and reset mentally to kind of work into things, and perhaps, you know, throw different like paces into the mix. See if you can really catch someone off guard. Throw everything at the wall and just see what kind of sticks. But right now, not much has been sticking. There's been a couple rounds where there's damage done. This could be another one of them, but it's still a 3 versus 5, and I don't think the Dragons are aware of Prox just lurking around the corner of the white box. Picks up 1. Ritz will trade back, and that is an actual glimmer of hope, a genuine kind of opportunity here for the Dragons to move something forward. Just as I say that though, Large Lewis gets ripped out of the server, and it's just Ritz trying to do whatever he can. That's a 3k. It's going to have to be the ace clutch to pull around.
Time could work quite
And
nicely.
yeah, you know what? I
Oh,
was going to
Isaac.
say I fancy his chances, but Isaac is in the most weird, eggy spot that you've ever seen. And he's, of course, going to catch Ritz off guard. That's 10-0. And, well, just looking at how this game is playing out, I think we might be on for a fairly quick finish.
I'd agree. I mean, you see it and I see it. Do we talk about it? She's his Dream's weapon player of choice. Matchmaking tactics coming out, boys. We're going to see 249 and then potentially again. Not going to matter that much. First kill goes out dagger. 249's working. I mean, 3 kills picked up. Sorry, 2 kills I should say picked up at 249.
Yeah, this was a little bit of what I was talking about when you need to try and force some respect. You know, if your opponents are buying M249s, just constantly taking fights, taking map control away, you can kind of see like, hey, we're not going to give you respect if you're not earning it. We're going to take all this space. We're going to push you at every avenue. You need to force us to respect you. And right now, that's not coming through. But, you know, there's a couple of rounds left in the half. If you can get maybe 3 or 4 rounds here on the T side, then you've absolutely got an opportunity to come back into things. And hopefully, we'll see that come through because you want to see every little bit of Welsh talent put on display. But yeah, right now it's not transpiring. Maybe it's just an unlucky day. Maybe I've thrown all of the dragons off in that pre-match questioning, interrogation, you might call it. But yeah, no, in any case, you know, still got rounds to play. It's still a first half of Vertigo.
Facts that we're 100% blaming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Please tweet at me to let me know. No, but in reality, you know, sometimes this is going to happen. You know, it's a fairly open tournament. Some teams are going to be a bit more sacked than others. Some teams are just going to hit the ground running.
I'll be honest as well. This is the first week, right? It's probably best to get this kind of play out of the way in the first week of games than for it to happen last week of games, you know? Top 6 teams take home some prize money as far as I'm aware. I can get clarification on that, you know, mods and chat can pop that in there. But, you know, there's plenty of time to kind of like remiss and pull things back together. Dragons, by the way, also, I should probably mention this, have played a game already this evening against the Artists. They did do 16-4. Robins haven't played a game at all as of yet. They had a bye in that first game. So, I mean, realistically speaking, Robins have had plenty of chance to kind of like calm themselves down, get themselves prepped ready for the game itself. Dragons have had a non-stop game. They maybe had like 25 minutes in between while we had the overhang from game 1 to game 2. So, yeah, I mean, it's hit or miss as far as how players can really react to having 2 quick games back to back. A lot of these players might not be in that mindset of being able to do game. You know what I mean? It's different. Yeah. It does hit different to do a matchmaking. It's different. There you go. Totally. Younger and younger with the days. Anyway, as things get younger and younger, as things get younger and younger, you're talking about how quickly things develop and go through this game. It feels like it's already done all around. I should say, it feels like it's already done and dusted. And yeah, we'll head into round 13, 12-0 as it stands.
I mean, I've talked about glimmers of hope wherever I can find them. That's the first bomb plant that we've seen in this game. So, polite gentleman clap for them.
Yeah, skull claps all around.
Yeah. You know, actually well done. You know, that you got to a site, you got the bomb down. Let's continue that form. Let's try and scrape together a couple more kind of those sort of opportunities and see if that can happen. But yeah, just a bit of a rough one here so far from the Dragons. The MP9, sorry, not MP9, P90. It's been so long since I've seen players use this gun, I've forgotten the name. In any case, it's done effective damage, and now it's just Tongu left alive with the AWP, trying to do whatever is possible, whatever can be done to salvage this situation. And,
catching a CT player off guard like that? Yeah, okay. I guess one with the AWP. Big green dropped immediately straight after, but I guess one. I'm surprised we didn't see they all get picked up, to be honest. You double up setup coming in from a CT side like this, playing as kind of like positive as they are. Robins, could have done work with that, but they didn't. We do have a pause coming out from the Dragon side. I don't know if this is. I believe we had one tack pause already. This probably is their second tack pause. I don't know how many they get, to be honest, through the server rules. 3 maybe? I think 3 is 10. 3 tends to be the standard, isn't it?
I will do some quick research.
Sound. That's what I like to hear. You clicking things in the background. Click, 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 click. We very rarely, by the way, have chat up in the background to when we're casting. I don't, at least, anyway. I know you do, because you jump in every now and again when I'm in the middle of talking or something like that, just to answer a question or two. But there's a lot of large Lewis fans in chat.
Yes, and that's something we love to see. I think if chat can rally around large Lewis, then maybe you'll just will the Dragons to a round. I don't want to see any hate, any kind of. Actually, I love to see trash talk. So if you want to trash talk a little bit, go for it.
I mean, I agree.
Respectful.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. Put some respect on the names. You know what I'm saying? Like, these boys are in your playing their asses off, for lack of a better way of putting it, and sheesh, like it's a hard grind.
Yes, we've brought it back.
I'm getting really good at doing the sheeshes, by the way. But yeah, it's a hard game to play when you go up against a team like this, where they seem to have all bases covered, and then they're throwing random bits of kit into the mix as well, like a 249. Like, not often will you see that kind of get pulled out. I mean, we've covered maybe like 3 or 4 games in the last 6 months where we've seen it get pulled out, and that's normally in like ESEA end of season, where teams are just doing whatever. They're not really paying too much mind or paying too much focus on the rest of the season, because they know their season's done, or they know they've already got promoted or whatever.
Right.
So yeah, it can be difficult to kind of like contest against that. But 13-0 is the scoreline. We are still on the pause at the moment, so we're just waiting for all the players to be ready to rock and roll. As I say, it happens. Thank goodness.
A little part of me wanted to jump back into the Dragons voice chat and just kind of hear this Braveheart-esque speech coming from one of their players to just rally the boys, try and get one round.
I don't think we can broadcast it, I'll be honest.
No, it probably wouldn't have been appropriate for stream in any case, but where there's a will, there's a way. That's not going to be a good start, though. All around, picking up an AWP kill. There are more players behind to trade, but you can see just how aggressive this CT side is being across the map. And that's an interesting way to push through. M249 doing effective damage. Will be only 1 kill that's brought through. So that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I see no way to get around that, to be honest with you. I mean, as far as the way that Rick approached it, Isaac's in such a good position there. He's able to slap that player out the fight immediately. Tongu being last man standing. He was actively being chased by Proxy J there for a couple of seconds. I think is why we saw the panic run and the panic pop up of utility. But as things stand, last man standing, pushing himself all the way up into sight. And he's made good movements to get across here, but he's got a 3-man retake coming in as well. The light kill comes through, and so Ursus fade. Ursus.
You sound like Alexa when she has one of those computation moments. It's just like,
Yeah.
It is an Ursus. You were right the first time.
I always get mixed up between that and the Little Mermaid. That sounds really bad, that does. But like Ursula, like every single time.
Okay, fair enough.
The insight into the mind of ReaperSteve. How terrifying must that be to chat? Swinging through though, round 15 of course. We are almost at the finishing stages of the first half. Foxy J just being super greedy, jumps down, doesn't care that he's making any noise. He's got 2-2-4-9s to back him up, mate. Doesn't really, doesn't bother. Oh, why are you rotating?
Is this it, Reaper?
This is
this the first round?
This is going to be it, 100%. No, sorry, this isn't going to be it. And you know
No.
why? You
Okay.
know why I've said that.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I see why you said that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
In any case, 4 versus 3 or out, taking names, will be traded. Now just Isaac and Linus Tech with an MP9 trying to hold down this B site. 53 seconds left. T side throwing utility in the correct direction, but decides to double back. The races are on over towards the A site. It is a very quick rotation for the T side players, but Isaac trades over for the M4 and will be there to meet these players. 35 seconds left as the time ticks down. There are smokes enough to get a bomb plant. I actually think there's an opportunity here if the Dragons are able to take full use of it.
They've got to get a shifty on if they're going to do it. 20 seconds left on the clock. That plant position is already taken by the CTs. Big tap. Oh, no time. Pull back, Isaac. I mean, there is time for the bomb plant, but not when you consider you've got an M4 barreling down it, right? Does he allow the plant to go through? Guys.
Oh, is it going to happen, Reaper? Isaac is so low, they're both
Yes!
so low, it's happened! They've got it around, let's go! 14-1 to end the half, and that's a W for the Dragons if I've seen one.
Mate, the good halves immediately from this Dragon side. Which you would love to see. Not defeated in any way, shape, or form. Smash out of GH. Let's
they
get
got
it
a moral victory.
Yeah, they have 14-1. I'm genuinely. If there's a map that you want to see overtime on, it's this one.
You know, with your tumultuous relationship with this map, I'm
not putting it past it. To get context to that sentence, when me and Jam first started working together, we did like 3 best of 3s, like first couple of matches we did together, and all 3 of them had Vertigo in it, and all 3 of them went to OT2, I think it was, like back to back. And I remember saying to him prior to the first game, I hated this match because I always go to OT. Oh, come on.
Let's go. Second
Let's
round.
go.
Let's go. We believe. Fingers crossed. Large Lewis might just lock it in. Proxy, the only player standing between the Dragons and the second round, but they're lining up for him. Just Large Lewis left alive, and Proxy might just lock it in. No, it is going to be a second round, and that was so back and forth in such a weird situation.
Jeez. Proxy just tap. Can teach me a league, please. Like, for real. Mine never does that. If I'm shooting at someone in that kind of situation, they're going everywhere. There's an outline, a perfectly formed outline of a player with bullet holes in the wall behind them while I'm shooting my deagle at players that close. So someone needs to either teach me or show me the way of how to use it properly. But that was incredible deagle work from him, in fairness, taking down 4 players on his own and just not quite able to do the final one in the end. But bomb plant and, well, I mean the entirety of side control goes in favour of the Robins, and the retake has just fallen to the wayside entirely. Largely picks up 2 for his troubles, but Oro is there, finishes him off in the end, and we go 15-2 Jammer, and it's a rough 15-2.
You know what? I think the Dragons can just sit back and say, you know what, boys, we didn't get 16-0'd. That's a good enough result for me, especially the way that things were looking. But you know what? In any case, 15-2, 16-2. If we do eventually reach that conclusion, I've got to say, you know, props to the Dragons for having the heart to, you know, continue to battle it out. You know, it didn't really look like they were giving up at any point. Of course, you know, the Robins having a bit of fun with it. That's, you know, fully within their remit. They're allowed to have fun, even though it is Counter-Strike, and you know, it sometimes feels like you're not allowed to have fun. But in any case, it's just Ritz 1 versus 5. He's going to be hunted down. And
team kills going out for you everywhere. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm more proud of the fact that we broke our casters curse tonight, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, it's like small victories for everyone as far as gameplay is concerned. Like, Dragon's got 2 rounds off her, mate. Like, that's big as far as I'm concerned. And he just So you're watching my Jammer's watching my stream, so you can see gameplay, and you just watch me type out "quit wrong" 3 times from CS. That's how much my brain is fried. Yeah, I mean, first game impeccable, 15-14. Sorry, 16-14 is actually what we want to see as far as like play side is concerned. Both teams kind of like going at it non-stop as far as second half is concerned. We switch into game side 2, and we saw some like real like dig deep coming out from the Dragons themselves. Robins were successful on the night, but who's to say that doesn't change for the following games as we proceed into next week's games, week after week after. Actually, 1 second, Jammer. I can pull this up for us. In fact, while we're talking.
Let's go.
Production value indeed, mate. I mean, this is going to be next week's games as far as the lineups are concerned. It's going to be Pirates versus Artists, Goats versus Puffins. Puffins don't think have enough players, but we'll double check that one at some point. Swans versus Robins. It's going to be a rough one, that is, for me. I'll be real with you. We might have to like get an ambulance ready for me, you know what I'm saying, just in case. Pit Ponies versus Dragons, Puffins versus Pirates straight after then in the second half of the matches for the rest of the evening. Robins versus Artists, Dragons versus Goats, and Pit Ponies versus Swans. We won't know which games we're covering. That's all getting picked by EsportsWales guys. If you want to get involved with the EsportsWales guys, by the way, you should, first and foremost. I think that goes without saying, Jammer.
Yep.
And you should click on all the links below their Twitter page, get involved in through Twitter. You can do it through Discord. Discord, you can get involved with actual playing with players as well and keep up to date on everything that's happening as far as the Welsh Esports League is concerned. Final thoughts for you, Jam, before we wrap things up for the evening?
We had a juxtaposition of a day, a really close game, a really one-sided game. But you know what? It's really good to see initiatives like this. So, all you guys, like the players and the viewers, just try and keep this kind of thing going. Keep turning up to these things for both players and viewers. That really does help these kind of things move forward, and hopefully we get to see some more good CS.
Indeed. That's it from the pair of us. That's it from the pair of us. We're going to wrap up for the rest of this evening while we get things ready for next week, basically. Hopefully, we'll have a good lineup of 2 matches for you again next week. 7 p.m., don't forget, is the time we start. Keep an eye out on Twitter. There's actually other tournaments ongoing, by the way. Like media would just focus on CS because CS is the best game. Let's be honest. Like,
it's the only one that matters.
I mean, that's the only one that really matters, right? Yeah, exactly. Like, it's the only one that people care about. But there are other tournaments that are ongoing within the Welsh Esports League. Please, please, please get involved if you can in any way that you can. Come back to the streams tomorrow night, following nights. Got really good production side of things set up. They've got Rainbow Six Siege going on, that game. And they've got they've got plenty of games for you guys to watch and enjoy. But that is it from both myself and Jammer. Don't forget, after you follow EsportsWales, follow the pair of us on Twitter as well. Help me get to 2,000 followers. Like, been waiting for ages. At ReaperSteve1 and at Jammer_CS. But thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you all next week. Peace.